Hello and welcome to Crypto Avenger. Now, a couple of months ago, I created a research token video, which I put out on another channel. The token in question is OXO, an AI-based privacy tool utilizing privacy mixer technology, as well as private and secure decentralized exchanges. Now, the content of the video, I think, is still very good from an educational point of view, and I think there's still a lot that can be learned from it. However, what I will say is that, this was several months ago, and so price action has probably moved on a bit. So when you get towards that part of the video, you may just want to actually have a look and see where price currently sits. If you like the video, then don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to also drop a comment saying any other research tokens you'd like me to have a look at, as I'd be more than willing to go over them for you. Now all that's left to do is enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, apologies in advance if I keep on referring to it as OXO. As I say, it is 0x0, but I will probably say OXO or OXO. And so, yeah, just bear that one in mind. But this is the web page that we come to when you log on to it. But straight off there, it classes itself as a comprehensive privacy solution featuring a variety of AI-based safety tools that redistribute 100% of revenue to OXO holders. Now, that's an interesting start, particularly about the redistribution of 100% of its revenue. And we're going to have a look at how that can do and whether or not that's a good or a bad thing for the project. Now, details here of its core values, which I'm not going to read through verbatim for you. Feel free to have a read yourself. But what I do want to focus on, the three primary tools that it is offering or going to offer. Now, and the first one is an AI auditor, which, although that might not mean anything to you, I think this is actually a very important part of the project. So as it says here, it is an AI smart contract auditor is a tool that uses advanced algorithms to analyze smart contracts and identify potential vulnerabilities or issues that could lead to a scam or other security risks. An auditor uses machine learning, hence the AI element of it, techniques to identify patterns and anomalies in the code, flagging potential issues for further review. And this actually is quite an interesting concept to be bringing in, and something that, but providing a smart contract auditing capability where you can upload your own code or code that you've seen on another smart contract, and then to try and see if there are any issues with it, whether or not it is malicious, whether or not there is a potential scam about that. And I think that is a really useful thing going forward then. The other thing it talks about is a privacy mixer. So now we're getting into privacy coins. Obviously, you may remember things like Tornado Cash, a very famous mixer that the US brought down. It is an interesting concept, which basically allows you to make your crypto transactions completely private and anonymous. So remember, due to the blockchain, due to the semi-permeable nature of it, they are sort of semi-transparent, semi-anonymous. We can track the transactions, we can track the code. We may not always know who's at the end of it. But what this does is it effectively bundles together a large swathe of transactions into a little mixer. It does all of those transactions sort of almost behind closed doors, and then it spits them out. And so whilst you can see what goes in and you can see what goes out, you don't know what's been swapped around in that mixer. And so that's where the privacy and the anonymity comes from. Goes on to say that also known as a coin mixer or a coin tumbler, this tool works by pooling multiple transactions together, mixing them, and then redistributing them to their intended recipients. So there you go. They put it a lot more eloquently than I did. And then we've got the final bit, which I think will probably be the main thing that will drive this project forward, and that is a privacy DEX. So DEX being a decentralized exchange, and so this privacy DEX aggregator is a tool that allows access to multiple decentralized exchanges. So this is almost like a front end in which you can connect to, as it says, multiple DEXs, but you can just use this one platform to do those transactions across it. So it allows you to do that in a single platform, whilst also providing enhanced privacy and security features. Obviously, we've got the privacy mixer and we have got the AI auditor as well. And so there is a potential narrative in the next bull run for DEXs to really try and take over. And they're definitely up and coming. It's a huge market at the moment with DEXs, and they're just trying to get in within that. Now, as you can see in the corner here, the privacy DEX is currently only on beta, as is the AI auditor. So they are working on those. Now, full, transparency in my thoughts at the moment, I think there are three excellent options and sort of narratives to be following in the market. I suppose my only concern is, are we spreading ourselves a little bit too thin? Each of those individually serves its own unique purpose in which OXO could work the back off. But to bring all three of them in on such a new project, I just wonder whether or not they've got the capability to see them all through in the way that they wished for them to be built. And we can see that they don't have anything really fully 100% operational as we speak. So, they're trying to build all of these on top of each other right at the beginning, when, it's fair to say that at the start of any project, whether it be in crypto or anywhere else, you don't have that cohesiveness, you don't have that clear sense of direction. And so that could just add a few more problems there. And I think they could have slowed down a little bit just to try and help that out. But we are where we are. There are these two other elements that I'm not necessarily going to go into, but the anti-rug AI, which is basically a bot which is in development to help protect users from scams in the DeFi space. That will be excellent. Don't get me wrong. We know that there's always scams in DeFi. We talked about that on the last research token. And then we've got the AI development hub. In terms of the website itself, fairly simple and easy to use website. If you click on any of these, it gives you a bit of an update of what each of them are. We've kind of gone through that already. But then we get into resources. Now, this is where the website does fall down, because I immediately always want to look for a white paper. I see they've got a white paper. I click on that. And to save you the time of waiting, nothing loads. There isn't a white paper under that link. That being said, if you go to the good documentation tab, you click on that, and it's going to bring you up the kind of white paper that I don't really like. I assume this is what their white paper is. It titles it as white paper version 1, even though it's under the documentation tab. And it kind of goes through everything there. But it does explain everything that we run through. It kind of gives a narrative as to what it thinks the problems are. We always look for if there is a real world problem it's trying to solve. It appears that they do have one. It looks like they've got 3 and they're trying to tackle all of them at the same time. But that is where it is. In terms of the tokenomics, there is 1 billion tokens, 0x0 tokens for the total supply. The current circulating supply, it's a bit confusing here. Let me just say that all is 100% circulating supply. However, the current circulating supply is about 89%, and that's because the remaining 11%, it is out in circulation. It's not going to be dumped on anyone, however you want to look at it. That's been held back in the burn wallet, and periodic burns will happen. So over time, the total supply will reduce down to the current circulating supply. But we're not expecting the current circulating supply to increase. Now, when we talk about tokenomics, that's always good to know that we're 100% distributed. We don't have more token drops to drop on us. So that's good to see. Goes through things like the thesis, which, again, why they're doing this, what they're doing, what the vision is, and where they want to go with it. The platform aims to achieve this by providing an all-in-one hub that offers users the ability to write and deploy custom smart contracts with ease. Okay, well, there we go. We've got a deployment hub. So that probably answers that one, as well as access AI-powered auditing capabilities. And that's what we talked about at the beginning, where you can just put in either your own smart contract code or smart contract code that you've seen from somewhere else, and their AI system will determine whether or not there's any vulnerabilities or scams within that. So again, you can go into a bit more detail about about each of the different facilities I got there. I don't really have time to go through it in the video, otherwise it's going to be a 40-minute video. But the information is here. It kind of gives examples of how it does it. It details out what each of them do. And I'm just trying to see if we've got anything here. No. I was hoping that the DEX aggregator might explain how they do it a little bit better. I suppose my question would be, if I were to go on to just one individual DEX, then I am just exposed to the risks inherent with that one DEX. If OXO are effectively creating a portal in which all of the DEXs are available to me, what is the security measure? How am I being protected from, an increased number of potential threats because I've got, say, 7 DEXs open now? Now, I don't have an answer for that. That's just something that sort of came to me whilst I was reading that through there. But again, given their focus on security and privacy, I would expect that to be answered and explained somewhere along their journey. So if we go back to the main website, we've got this. There's a thing called a pitch deck, which I'm going to come back onto. But I want to talk a little bit more about the token to start off with. Now, the token itself holds a vital role in the ecosystem. allowing users to earn the passive income through the redistribution of utility fees generated by the protocol. So this is what they're talking about at the beginning. So any fees that have been generated on the applications are going to be redistributed back to holders. But here we go, without having to stake it. So this isn't necessarily something you need to stake. They're not requiring your token to secure the network or anything like that. You just have to have it in a wallet that's connected to their platform. So I should have mentioned right back at the beginning, but this is an Ethereum based token. So it's an ERC20 token, which means you can utilize your MetaMask, which ultimately then can be protected by the likes of a Trezor or a Ledger. Now, to acquire the OXO token, it's mainly available on Uniswap version 2. That's where about over 50% of the liquidity is. There are some centralized exchanges. It mentions LBank here, but they have recently signed up with BitGet. I will be honest, I've already been on there and liquidity is low, like very low. So, you won't spend more than $1,000 worth on there and you're going to be moving the price. So if you are looking to do this, the DEXs are the place. Uniswap is the place to go and have a look at that. The token incorporates a 5% tax on transfers, serving as a crucial mechanism to sustain the project's financial operations. As the project team does not retain any of the tokens, so this is, there is no founders or anything else. I suppose it's a fair launch, if you will. This tax is vital in generating revenue to support various initiatives, including development of utilities, robust marketing campaigns, strategic buyback and burn programs, and the provision of liquidity to reduce price volatility and fair compensation for the dedicated full-time efforts of the team. So they're getting paid through the 5% as well, I think. The 5% fee collected from the tax is transferred automatically and converted to ETH, and it's been deposited in the project's marketing wallet, which you can see the web address there, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want for a decentralized project. We want transparency throughout there. So we can click on that link. Let's do it. And we can see at the moment, they've got a current balance of 941 Ethereum, which is about $1.5 million as it stands at the moment. This next paragraph actually presents for me the biggest red flag for the whole project. And that's, in order to maintain stability and mitigate significant price declines, the team occasionally removes tokens from the contract. Now, this seems very vaguely worded for something that could be as profound as that. And it doesn't really seem to be very decentralized at all. So the team claims that, it's fair launch. There was no token allocations provided to anyone else. They've also got themselves into a position where the contract has been fully renounced. And I get all of that. But the team occasionally removes tokens from the contract. How can they do that? Why are they doing that? What does that actually mean? And for me, it's been deliberately vague within there. And without any explanation, without rationale as to why they would do it, they could be continuously removing the contract. The OXO tokens contract is fully renounced. Perfect. That's what we want because we want it to be decentralized. It says it here, exemplifying the project's commitment to decentralization. Great. This reunification, don't know if that's right, ensures that developers have no access or ability to alter the contract. Perfect. Enhancing transparency and fostering trust within the community. This is it. If you want to be a privacy token, you need to be as transparent as you can. You need to build that trust. You throw in a DEX within that in which you're handling other people's money, then it is paramount that the people who utilize it have that trust within you. Well, for you to be successful anyway. It is essential to understand that there are no other tokens within the 0x0 ecosystem. Good. 0x0 represents a unique and compelling long-term investment opportunity, providing investors with the potential for token price appreciation. Okay, perfect. So the passive income that we talked about. So to unlock the potential of the passive income by participating in the revenue share model of 0x0, so holding 0x0 tokens allows you to benefit from the generated revenue within our ecosystem. Revenue is generated through utility fees and the ecosystem services. 100% of this revenue is distributed to token holders, providing you with the opportunity to passively earn from the growth and success of the 0x0 ecosystem. And I just want to go back to the pitch deck. So this is, it's a PDF document, a PowerPoint presentation, if you will, which obviously they've sort of gone out and broken this down. For those of you that don't have time to listen to it all or whatever, this is probably the best way that you can just understand what the project is. I'll zoom in a little bit just so we can get that. I'm not going to go through each one because we kind of covered a lot of it. But as you can imagine, their main focus at the moment is to try and disrupt the decentralized exchange space. So it's good to see that they've got some data on here at the moment to just show where it currently sits. Now, we can kind of see how big Uniswap was, PancakeSwap and Curve take the majority of the rest. And then the blue bit is 16 others. So these bits here are 16 of them. For me, that is hopefully what they're targeting, is to try and take some advantage of that. And they start giving some figures here, actually, because DeFi protocols reached 90 billion in August 2021. And they even talk about, even if they were to capture 0.1% of that volume, they could generate significant fees distributed back to the token holders. It is a competitive landscape, so they really need to understand that. Now, they talk about things like Tornado Cash, which you know has gone under, but that was one of the biggest privacy mixers out there. Solid Proof is another platform that sort of audits smart contracts, so they've already identified who that is. And then Uniswap, I find it a bit of a stretch for them to, I mean, it's good that they are, like I said earlier, reaching for the stars with Uniswap, but the reality that they may be their biggest competitor, yeah, I'm not so sure about that one. Business model. So assuming a total supply of 1 billion of OKX tokens and a holder with 1 million, which is 0.1% of the tokens, will be eligible for a proportionate share of the fees generated by our platform. For example, if our platform generated $1 million in fees, a holder of 1 million tokens would be entitled to 0.1% or $1,000. As our platform grows and generates more fees, the potential for passive income for our token holders will increase. And then there's some slides here which kind of show how that kind of breaks down and gives you sort of varying different amounts of volume per day. The team, okay. Again, I think this is a bit of a red flag. You know, we're talking about trust, we're talking about accountability, we're talking about people's finance, and yet the team has remained undoxed. You know, I think it's fairly safe to say the vast majority of decentralized exchanges have at least a partially doxed team for accountability. And we don't know who these people are yet. They've got Twitter profiles, but it'd be much better if we could see things like, you know, CVs or LinkedIn or whatever, and understand what their history is, what they bring to it. And we also know who is accountable. I think at the moment, for me, I want a project. I want to get behind a project which I understand who the team is. So that's something for me that needs to be resolved. Here's a breakdown of volume for DEXs, and you can kind of see just how big Uniswap really is, which is why I think it's just probably not realistic to be focusing on. We want to be focusing on these people here. I don't know where they fit on this bit, but the smaller ones that you've not really heard of, we can take some of their share, and I think, you know, we're in for it. This is the roadmap. Now, I kind of like that they're putting out what the roadmap is, but there's no dates. There's nothing. You know, launch phase, adoption phase, expansion phase, maturity phase. But what's that mean? How long's maturity? 5 years down the line? Is expansion the next bull run? I don't necessarily know. So I would prefer to understand that a lot better than what it currently is understood. But unfortunately, that just is where it is for me. Let's have a look at where we are at the moment. This is CoinMarketCap. Price is currently sitting at 10 cents. Now, we're going to have a look at it, but this only 30 days ago was sitting at under 4 cents. So it has had an astronomical rise over the last couple of weeks, you know, nearly 2-3xing its price. Now, doesn't necessarily seem to be slowing down at the moment, but we've got to just be cautious of whether or not this is, you know, going to have some form of correction. As we can see here, it's got a market cap of around about 90 billion. I should add that this has been filmed on the 18th of October. Its volume is around about 900,000, so it's about 1% trading volume. Yeah, actually, the volume per market cap is 1.09%, which isn't a huge amount there. As I said, there's not many centralized exchanges, and there seems to be a lot, with the majority of it done on decentralized exchange, Uniswap. Now, here are the exchanges. So as I said, Uniswap, BitGet, LBank. I've never heard of OceanSea or X Markets, but there they are. I had a look at BitGet, but as I said, the volume and the spread is very thin. So if I'm going to buy it, it'll be Uniswap that I'm working it on. But let's have a look at the charts and where this sits. Now, this is the BitGet one. Now, BitGet only goes back to middle of July from when it was launched on the exchange. But you can kind of see it had the launch and then it just fell away. So the hype built it up, fell away, and it's slowly been building itself up. It had a nice consolidation period at the end of the summer. And then for some reason, beginning of October, it's just been climbing, which is maybe why it's come on people's radar and why you've asked me to talk about it. But it has just been climbing. And my worry, I mean, it is respecting the EMAs, don't get me wrong. And so, it's not broken at the moment, and it could be a great opportunity to get in. Every so often it peels back to the 50 EMA, which would be around about 9.5 cents. But right now it is respecting the 5 and the 10. It's just snaking up there. So, this could be an ideal opportunity. What will be interesting is when this film comes out, what the price actually sits at. Right, some other things that are sort of a bit concerning for me. The team and, the focus that they particularly have on trust and understanding and sort of that accountability, and yet they don't dox themselves. I feel like that should have just be done as part and parcel of the course. It seems like it's almost a no-brainer. I've talked about that ability to reduce the scale of auto swaps and payments and that feels like it doesn't feel very decentralized. Matter of fact, they're supposed to be decentralized, supposed to be fair launch, supposed to sort of have the team remove themselves from the tokens, and yet there's something in there in which they can adjust it for the health of the market, and everything else just feels a bit, I don't know how that's done. Is it voted on? Doesn't seem like it. There's nothing in there that talks about governance or anything else. So I feel like there is a bit of power hidden behind the team, and that just is a nervousness for me. They're trying to be transparent about it, but they just do not explain that in sufficient detail for me to alleviate any concerns. An individual called Crypto Knight, he did a very good thread on a lot of the positives about 0x0, going into detail about the auditing contracts, about the mix of protocols, and about what the DEX is coming. Things like it's being beta tested on Polygon and stuff like that is it's good to see. We don't want it just stuck on Ethereum with those expensive fees in the middle of a bull run. So that's great. But he goes through it all, and I don't really have time to go through it. It's worth a read if you're definitely interested within that. So what's my overall verdict on 0x0? There's part of me that really likes this project. I think it's tackling 3 core elements, which are very strong narratives going into the 2024 bull run, being privacy, security, decentralized exchanges, and of course, AI. So they're doing all of those at the same time. They stick the landing on that. I think we're on for a winner. In terms of things that I don't like that they are advertising this about trust and accountability and privacy and all of that, and then they don't really dox themselves. There's definitely some confusion in terms of how the payment mechanism works. The detail around that seems to be limited. Hopefully it's buried further in some documentation, which I'll stumble across. And I don't like that wording when you're talking the token information about the potential of their ability to, I don't use the word manipulate, makes it sound bad, but alter the payment mechanism to save the health of the market. That feels like that could be a get out of free jail card. In terms of where I sit with this, I likely will probably buy a small bag over the next couple of days, but I will be trigger happy on this. So if after that I find out there's something that I didn't really like, then I'll probably look to sell it. In terms of allocation, this will be no more than 1% of the portfolio. Probably only start with around about 0.3 to 0.5% in the initial build, just so I can use the dashboard and try and see how often these payments come out and where they currently sit. Okay, so that's it. OXO, the AI-based privacy tool, which may help to revolutionize the DeFi space. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I mentioned before, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Put any other future videos you'd like to see within the comments of this video. And all that's left to say is I'll see you on the next one. Thanks now.